And you've heard the president get on television. Now he says we're going to have to move this up and address it. I'm telling you, and John Boehner, the minority speaker, was talking about this on television. And he made reference that they acknowledge that of the 12 million, if they give amnesty across the board, for one thing, there should be no amnesty. If you give amnesty to some, what about all those in Africa or England or Asia that are trying to come into this country? Where does it place them after years and years of going through the proper process? If they do provide this amnesty, not only will it give approximately 12 million people citizenship, but they're going to give them legal status within 24 hours of passing that law. You cannot even do a background investigation in that 24 hours. These are major, major issues. They also acknowledge that 33,000 documented criminals, these are gang members, are going to get citizenship. That's bogus too, because there's more than 80,000 in Los Angeles alone. What about the rest of the country? And allegedly all they have to do is denounce their membership in the gang. It's not going to happen. Simply not going to happen. But what they're not telling you, and this is where my history comes in Joint Terrorism Task Force in 1999, in one case in Los Angeles, we deported almost 100 members of Hezbollah who were illegal immigrants. They were here. We used the immigration law to deport them, and they were raising money for jihad. They were sending money back to radical Islam groups, money that they were collecting from the Los Angeles area. In 2005, according to the Homeland Security records alone, 2,000 illegal aliens tried to cross the border that were from terrorist sponsoring nations in the Middle East. I have even a video from an imam who is soliciting young Muslims to cross the Mexican-U.S. border because it's easy, and to bring 5 pounds of anthrax, and he says with that 5,000 pounds he can kill up to 200,000 Americans. I mean, even they recognize that our border is porous. But back to the point that if this immigration law passes, they're not going to say it's just the person who's coming up here that wants to work on a farm, or it's just a person we want to decriminalize who wants a better life. They will bring in tens of thousands of criminals, thousands of members of Hezbollah and Hamas who are here already supporting jihad against the very people that are citizens of this country that Congress is going to overlook in doing this. The immigration bill is going to be a major issue. We're going to have to stand up, talk to other people, have them get information. And what I would do is write to all your congressmen, your representatives, and say, look, don't take this Colonel Powell's word for it. Ask them to have the FBI bring their information forward before they allow them to proceed with this. Let the statistics from the FBI, whose primary responsibility is Joint Terrorism Task Force leader, they take the leadership role in this, let them provide the statistics. On to a couple other issues that we have in the state. Second Amendment. I'm an NRA member. I've been carrying weapons probably almost 50 years of my life, down to the time that I was hunting in the military and as an agent. I can tell you that not one of those firearms went and held somebody up. Not one. We need to put the onus where it belongs, not operate with hysterics, but with common sense. They should not outlaw the guns. They should outlaw the individuals that use them. And I will propose as a legislator that if you carry a firearm, whether you point it or use it, if you even carry a firearm in the commission of a felony, it'd be a mandatory 5-year sentence, mandatory 10 years if you use it, even pointing it at somebody. It's a life-threatening event when you have a criminal point a weapon at you, but let's go after the criminal, not the inanimate object, the firearm. The last two things I want to talk about are energy. You hear they were talking about the global warming bill, which is the Assembly Bill 32. That bill is going to charge all of us more money in electricity costs, to the tune of $800, $1,600 a month. if they would put one more nuclear plant, now bear in mind that the nuclear energy we're using now is 50-year technology, 50-year-old technology. If they put a new plant in now that would cut one only in San Diego County, would cut our expenses in half. Can you imagine the business that would promote? Leading into business, our overtaxing and overregulating has cost California, believe this or not, between September 2008 and September 2009, 40,000 employers left California or went out of business. That's employers, not employees. And that's due to overregulating, overtaxing. Texas is soliciting business from California, and they're quite successful at it by giving them tax incentives. And yet we're adding taxes to our businesses. I met an attorney from North Carolina who's actually going after the Hollywood industry to start to promote filming of beach scenes in North Carolina. And they're offering what? Tax incentives. The last thing I want to talk to you about are legislators. How many of you think they should be held to a higher standard?
Oh, okay.
True? Absolutely. As a military officer, as a federal agent, if I lied or I misled, the least that would happen to me is I would be either reduced in rank, have a reprimand, and more than likely be fired. And yet, those people who represent us, both at the state and the federal level, lie and misrepresent all the time. I believe a lie is a lie. I believe that misuse of government property is misuse of government property, even if it is the Speaker of the House that does it. I believe that bribery is bribery, even if it's a majority leader in the Senate that's bribing another senator. Bribery is bribery. If you want honor and integrity brought back to the legislature in Sacramento, and in particular with the 78th Assembly, I'm asking you to support me. Again, my website is Vote Rick Powell. I cannot do it alone. None of us can. And it takes more than coming to a meeting. It really takes you to get on the internet, pull up the websites, and send them to your friends. Say, look at this guy. If you believe in what I'm saying, if you like my background or you think I'll be a good representative, then forward that information to other people. Ask them to do the same thing. I'm doing it for the right reasons. Thank you very much.